You had a plan, a real one. You knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and why it mattered. And then nothing. You didn't start. Or you started and then quietly destroyed it yourself. Maybe you stopped going to the gym right when you were finally making progress. Maybe you pushed away someone who actually cared about you. Maybe you got close to something good, a job, a goal, a relationship, and found a way to make it fall apart. And the worst part? You watched yourself do it in real time, like a passenger in your own life. This isn't laziness. This isn't weakness. And it's definitely not some personal flaw that only you have. This is self sabotage. And according to psychology, your brain is doing it on purpose, not to hurt you, but because some part of your mind genuinely believes that success, closeness, or change is more dangerous than staying exactly where you are. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this happens inside your brain and what it actually takes to stop it. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. When we self sabotage, we assume the problem is motivation. We tell ourselves, I just need more willpower, more discipline, a better morning routine, and we go looking for strategies, hacks, systems. But here's the thing, self sabotage is not a motivation problem, it's a safety problem. Your brain has one core function that overrides everything else, keeping you alive and protected. And over years of experience, it has built a very detailed map of what feels safe and what feels dangerous. The problem is, that map was drawn a long time ago, often in childhood, often in moments of pain, rejection, or failure, and your brain hasn't updated it since. So when you move towards something new, a better job, a deeper relationship, a bigger version of yourself, your brain doesn't see opportunity, it sees a threat. And it does what it always does with threats. It stops you, not with force, with habits, with distraction, with that sudden urge to check your phone, clean the kitchen, or convince yourself that today is not the right day to start. There's a concept in psychology called the comfort zone, and most people think it means the place where things are easy and pleasant, but that's not accurate. Your comfort zone is not where things feel good, it's where things feel familiar, and familiar feels safe, even when it's painful. This is why people stay in jobs they hate for years, why they repeat the same relationship patterns over and over, why they know exactly what they need to do and still don't do it. The brain is not trying to make you happy, it's trying to keep you predictable, because predictable means survivable. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Research in psychology shows that people with low self worth often self sabotage right at the moment of success, not before it. They get the promotion, then start arriving late. They fall in love, then pick fights over nothing. They hit their goal weight, then quietly stop trying. Why? Because success creates a new identity, and a new identity feels unknown, and unknown feels dangerous. So the brain pulls you back to the version of yourself it knows how to protect. There are several patterns that show up again and again in self sabotage, and once you see them, you can't unsee them. The first one is procrastination, not the lazy kind, the anxious kind, the kind where you genuinely want to do something. You think about it constantly, but you never start. This is your brain keeping you in the preparation zone forever. Because as long as you're preparing, you can't fail, and you can't prove to yourself that you're not capable. The second pattern is self-isolation. When things start going well, when someone gets close, when a friendship deepens, when a team starts trusting you, something shifts. You pull back. You become harder to reach. You convince yourself you need space or that people will eventually disappoint you anyway. This is your brain protecting you from the pain it remembers, even if that pain happened 20 years ago. The third pattern is perfectionism used as avoidance. You tell yourself you'll start when the timing is right, when you know enough, when the idea is fully formed, but the bar keeps moving. Because perfectionism isn't about high standards, it's about never having to find out what happens if you try and fail. The fourth pattern is self destructive decisions right before a breakthrough. This one is almost invisible until you look back. You quit the course 2 weeks before it ends. You pick a fight with your partner right after a moment of real closeness. You oversleep the morning of the important meeting. These aren't accidents. These are exit strategies, ways your nervous system finds to escape a situation that feels too good, too exposed, or too unfamiliar. So, what's actually happening in the brain during all of this? The key player is the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for detecting threats. It doesn't think in logic, it thinks in patterns, and it responds to emotional memory, not rational analysis. When you were young and tried something and failed, and someone made you feel stupid, your amygdala recorded that. When you trusted someone and got hurt, it recorded that too. When you expressed ambition and got laughed at, recorded. And now, years later, every time a situation feels even slightly similar, the amygdala fires. It sends a signal to your body, danger, and your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, planning, rational part of your brain, gets overridden. You don't decide to self-sabotage. Your nervous system executes a protection response, fast, automatic, and completely below the level of conscious thought. This is why telling yourself to just push through doesn't work. You're not dealing with a decision, you're dealing with a reflex. Now, here is what actually helps. The first step is recognition, not judgment. When you notice yourself avoiding, procrastinating, pulling back, or making a strange decision right before something good, pause. Don't criticize yourself, just notice. Say to yourself, this looks like self-sabotage. Something in me feels unsafe right now. That single act of naming it changes everything because it moves you from automatic response to conscious awareness. And in that small gap, awareness creates choice. The second step is asking a different question. Instead of asking, why am I so weak? Ask, what is this behavior protecting me from? What would happen if I actually succeeded here? What would I have to become? What would I have to risk? The answers are often surprising, and they're almost always old. They come from a version of you that needed that protection, but that version is not who you are now. The third step is gradual exposure, not massive action. The brain doesn't update its threat map through motivation speeches. It updates through repeated safe experiences. Small steps, followed by survival, followed by slightly bigger steps. You don't need to leap. You need to show your nervous system over and over again that moving forward doesn't destroy you. This is slow. It's not dramatic. It won't make a great highlight reel, but it's the only thing that actually rewires the pattern. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Self-sabotage is not evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that at some point in your life, protection mattered more than progress. And your brain learned that lesson very well. The goal is not to fight your brain. The goal is to update it, to show it through action, through awareness, through patience, that you are not in that old situation anymore, that you can handle more than it thinks, that success is not the threat, staying stuck is. The part of you that keeps pulling back is not your enemy. It's just running very old software. And software can be updated. It just takes time. And it starts with understanding why it's running in the first place. If this hit close to home, and I suspect it did, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to understand more about how your brain shapes your behavior without your permission, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is about.